one.
Maisha ni ya ghetto, msaliti ni petro, sheria muna kwao, wazimu pia na hao, furaha sio mfano, ukabila ni kwao. Kadiri na shika furaha kwa lakini, kwa mashabiki, waji kuziki, hit na ziki, muda wiki, mimi na hip ziki, split ni muki, kutafuta ziki, kwa makini mfulisi, salojima la sili, feel me.
Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution song.
Yes. I want that. Oh, I need that. Gots to have that. I love my
Hey, my brother, you know I had to call you and thank you personally again. I cannot describe to you how happy I was to meet you in person, finally. That was just like amazing. And I just want to tell you thank you again. I cannot thank you enough. And I love your girlfriend's personality. She's just so straightforward, so upfront. No BS. I love it, and I hope y'all get married. Y'all get married. Invite me to the wedding. Anyway.
Yes, Brother Taalik, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I am Minister John Cooper. I live in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And I was watching someone had sent me a video, and I was watching it, and I think yours popped up on the sidebar. I never heard of you before. When you get time, give me a call if you can. I did a sermon and finally got a chance to do it at church. I am a minister, but I'm not active in the pulpit. I'm deciding to speak, basically trying to teach and getting our people ready and those that will listen. And this minister allowed me to do a lesson this past Tuesday night. Basically, my wife said, "Man, you were saying the same thing this guy is saying now, John," and it just blew her mind. And I just thought to present to that congregation who we were, and we don't want to be black, and what is happening to America. It is falling, those kinds of things. And they were looking at me with their mouth hung open, and half of them probably couldn't receive it, half did. And I just want to commend you for your work that you're doing, and I'm looking at some of your other videos now. And any way you can help me, if you got a mailing list I can get on, or email list or anything, I would appreciate that help. And material you have that I can continue to teach and get out to our people, because it's a critical time right now. God bless you, and I'll look for your call.
Free your mind.
Okie doke. We want to try, or I am going to ask you a question. People really don't like when I ask questions. But it's very important. Somebody told me I don't understand African DNA because I don't have a scientific mind. Well, well, I don't have a scientific mind, and I don't cite my sources. First of all, when you talk about cite your sources, you're getting your information from another man. All men have flaw. All men have error. So you want me to cite your sources. You talk about cite your sources, getting information from people who can make a mistake, who could be in error. That what they present is not necessarily true. But you want to present, tell me your sources like that source is 100%, 1000% accurate. No, no. Because I don't care what information that you have. I don't care how accurate you think that it is. As long as men are behind it, it's a possibility of being in error. Because I'm not scientific and I don't understand DNA, but you don't have a degree in genetics either. You don't have a genetics background. You just think because you done read some books that you understand. But the thing about it is, number one, we don't consider common sense, logic, and reason. Those things are just, you just ignore those things. Number two, yes, I do have a scientific mind, except my mind is scientific in a different kind of way. Like a forensic, what's they call it, like a CSI. A detective mind. Because I understand that this is a crime scene. And since I'm dealing with a crime scene, then I need to pay attention to detail. And that's what you don't do. That's what you don't understand. So when I bring things to you, you can't comprehend, you don't understand because you're not used to paying attention to detail. And looking at something over and over again and listening to something over and you get to the point where, I like that. You like it. And you become loyal to that and you say in your mind, this is it. And you roll with that. That's not what it's about. That's not how you draw to your best conclusion because you like that. A lot of people would be on death row. Matter of fact, a lot of people are on death row and in jail because people just like that. They're not paying attention to detail. They're not looking at things. They're not looking at things, the whole overall picture. They already make up in their mind. And see, this is the thing. If you are on trial and just a little bit of information has been omitted, that changes the conclusion of the jury. But that little bit of something, a lot of people might not think or look at, that, and you take that out of the equation, it changes the conclusion. That determines whether or not you go to jail or you're a free man or woman. Paying attention to detail. We don't know nothing about that. Because many of us claim, I'm a critical thinker. I think for myself. No, you don't. Because you're not paying attention to detail. And you're just like any other believer. You believe in when these people talk about they went to the moon. You believe that. You believe in that DNA stuff. And you even said You even say it yourself. Oh, you don't believe in African DNA? Oh, you don't believe? Because that's what it's about. If it was true, if it was a fact, we would not have to talk about what we believe. Because we're living in a crime scene. You're dealing with people who are liars. You're dealing with people who are deceivers, manipulators, a bunch of quacks. So you have to really pay attention to detail. Otherwise, they'll get over on you. And that's what has been happening to us for a long, long time, for thousands of years. Quacks and deceivers and liars, that's how they've been rolling, because they understand that the people are ignorant. And some of y'all are really smart, college educated. You know all the different types of little terminology. That don't mean nothing. One of the worst fools is what they call an educated fool. On that note, let me make this point real quick, and I'm going to be audited 5,000. I was watching a sister's video, and she was talking about this abortion issue. But she wanted to bring it to us from a spiritual point of view. And I'm wondering, what is that? What do she, how do you make talking about abortion spiritual? Okay, let's see. So I'm listening to her video, and as she's talking, I don't hear nothing spiritual. Everything is physical. The actual act of abortion is physical. What they do with she was talking about what they do with the melanin from the aborted babies. That's physical. Everything is physical. So what do you mean by spiritual if everything that you're describing is physical? Matter of fact, you couldn't even describe what's going on spiritually, because you have nothing. How can you describe it? Oh, see, see, you cannot see a spirit like that. You can't even communicate with spirits like that. The word spirit, let's break it in half. Spiritual. First part, spirit. Spirit is the essence of the dead. It's the essence of a dead person. You cannot have a spirit until something that is alive dies. That's what produced the spirit. When that spirit gives up its soul. Then the other part of your word is ritual. Ritual means praise or worship. Worship of the dead. That's what spiritual. That's the origins of spirituality. The worship of the dead. The obsession with the dead. When you talk about, I'm spiritual. And that's what they done. I'm being spiritual. There was rituals that they done in order to worship, dedicated to the deceased. The hereafter, the afterworld. What do you mean that you're spiritual? I keep asking these questions over and over again. There's only two real forms of what we call being spiritual. It's very simple. Being spirit, as an example, like we have team spirit. Having a connection to another life form. You feel the vibrations of the life coming from your dog or a cat that's alive. You can feel spiritual towards the plants because plants are alive. Team spirit. All of us, our minds are all connected to one source. We all feel the same emotion, cheering on the same team. Team spirit. An emotional connection to another life form, to another person. That's spiritual. Another word for spirits, or another definition, is strong drink, vodka, Hennessy, all that stuff y'all like to do. And you get drunk. Wine and spirits, hard liquor. And I'm very sure y'all familiar with, well, I only do it to socialize, snap. I really don't mess with that. I just do it to socialize, you know, guy. It's not. Now you know about that. So when I talk about spirituality, I can easily describe what I mean by spirituality. Go down to the liquor store, get your spirits. If both of us enjoy this video, we are emotionally connected in the same manner. We are in the same spirit. You can feel the spirit, the motion, that you can embrace the emotion that I'm coming to you from this video. Now that other spiritual stuff, and you think I don't really know what the hell is it. I'm spiritual. What you mean? You have a connection to God. What you know? Explain it. What do you mean by that? Show it. Put it in a cup, in a glass. Pour it so we can see it, like you do the other spirit that you get from the liquor store. How can you be spiritual, but everything you describe is physical? There's nothing spiritual. There's nothing ghost-like. There's nothing, everything that you talk about is tangible. So what do you mean I'm spiritual? African spirituality. What the hell is that? I'm spiritual. Explain, please. I have yet to meet anybody rather, that can really describe. That's the problem. When things don't make sense, when things are not logical, they are very difficult to explain. Very difficult to explain the unexplainable. Everything that I present here, I can explain. And if you're an idiot, I'm going to have to find a way to explain it even more simple, but it can be explained. But you, on the other hand, because you are off into other dimensions, you've been to Krypton, Wakanda, and you're spiritual. You know, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to, and I'm not making mockery. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about, because I hear this all the time about spirituality. I'm spiritual. I hear it all the time. But really, what do you mean? Because everything that you say is physical. And that's the only thing you're ever going to be able to explain is the physical, because that's all you know. You don't know nothing outside of this. Happy, anger, sadness, joy, walking, see, envy, jealousy, everything that you know of relates to what you know. This is all that you know. Even your God. Your God sounds like a man. Jealous, envious, a murderer, adulterer. Everything that you describe is physical. So what do you mean by spirituality? What is it? We just make up stuff. You know, watch too many cartoons. See, cartoons can pull that off. You can't pull it off. It's hard to explain that which cannot be explained.
Free your mind.
Okay, I want to just bring up an observation question, inquiry, observation. Now, this is something that I know that most of us will agree. When you look at a book, most books have a title and the book has an author, right? Books have a title and an author. So for instance, The Shining by Stephen King. The title is The Shining. The author of the book is Stephen King. The autobiography of Malcolm X by Malcolm X and Alex Haley. These are the authors. The autobiography of Malcolm X. Whatever book that you read, you have a title and an author or authors. Except, well, the title is the Holy Bible. There is no author. By who? We say by God. That's what we assume. But the book, whoever published the book, did not give God the credit. The Holy Quran, we have a title. Who's the author? Now, using these two books as examples, you have a title, the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran. There is no author. By who? Written by who? We said this is the book of God, but books have titles and they have authors. You're supposed to just assume that Allah wrote the Quran. You're supposed to just assume that they can't. I'm not really sure what God's supposed to wrote the Bible or is responsible for the Bible. But that author is, why isn't that author a part of the manuscript, a part of the Bible itself, written by God? This is because you say that Allah revealed the Quran. You say that that these are the words of God in the Bible, but there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence that your God can even write. And your God has to be able to write in all kinds of different languages, all kinds of different ways, in order to get this message across. Even so, it is very clear that this God, this Allah, Yahweh, Yashara, what is it? Yahweh, all these different names that you have for God. Jesus, they even call Jesus God, but Jesus is supposed to be the Son. He's the Son, God, and the Holy Ghost all at the same time. Well, hey, to each his own. What else has God written? When you look at a book like The Shining by Stephen King, not only has Stephen King wrote that book, he wrote letters to his mother, his father, to relatives. There's all kinds of other writings that you can find with Stephen King. Now, of course, the main writing by God is the Bible. You would think that God maybe would wrote other stuff, and then we can compare those writings to that of the Bible to actually see if God had anything to do with the Bible or the Quran or whatever, the book of your belief choice. There's no evidence. When you look at the Bible, when you look at the Quran, God is not the author. The Quran was revealed to the prophet. God did not write nothing. The God did not say nothing to the prophet. Did not actually say anything. So you have a secretary that's working at a law firm, and one of the lawyers dictate a letter. Then that secretary writes it down on a piece of paper. Is that what you're saying that God done? That this was dictated by so-and-so, by God and Prophet Muhammad or these other people? They wrote it down? But even so, this lawyer, you can find paperwork where this lawyer wrote things on his own accord. Don't have to dictate. Why? This is the question you need to ask yourself. Why doesn't this God, first of all, why doesn't this God just make him or herself perfectly clear? There's no argument. There's no debate. Here's God right in front of your eyes. God would tell you my name. You don't have to run around here with all these different names. Allah, Yahshua, what's other names for God? You don't have to worry about all that, because this God has made him or herself or itself perfectly clear. No more, there's no more debating, no more I believe, I don't know. You know. This is a fact. So you have Quran in the Bible, and especially in the Bible is filled with authors. Each chapter in the Bible is by different authors. So if the chapters in the Bible is by different authors, how is the Bible the book of God? How is this the word of God when you have different authors in the Bible? Clearly, they are not God, but all their writing is supposed to be the word of God. How can it be the word of God? It's not coming from God. It's coming from these men, and they are the authors. The book of Matthew, the book of John, the book of, and it go. They are. It's filled with hearsay information. Somebody said that God said. Somebody said that God wrote so-and-so. But God, Allah, or whatever, there's no evidence God, Allah, whatever you want to call your God, has wrote anything. Matter of fact, if your God exists, it sounds as though your God is illiterate. That your God does not know how to read and write. That's what it sounds like. Your God has an illiteracy problem. Sounds illiterate. But one thing is for sure. If this is the words of God, then on the cover, as an author, God should be given credit. But it's just a title, and God is not given credit. All of it is hearsay information. All of it is third-party information. There is nothing, no evidence, no proof that God wrote the Bible or Quran or revealed anything. There's no real evidence to support that. See, that's why it's called belief, people. It's called belief. And when you believe something, you don't need any evidence. You don't need logic. You don't need common sense. You don't need none of the above. So be happy believing. But don't expect when you bring your belief to those of us who can think that we're not going to question because something here don't make any sense. If God is the author of the Bible or the Quran, then that credit should be on the Bible and Quran, but it's not. And there's a reason why. Because these books are not the books authored by any God. These are accumulation of things by certain persons who say this is the word of God. How do you know it's the word of God? You never seen God. What is the evidence? How do you know these things? You never seen God in person. You never talked to God. How do you know all of this belongs to some God? Matter of fact, you don't even know the author of these people. You never met Prophet Muhammad. You never met Jesus. You never met John. You never met Noah or Methuselah. You never met nobody. And you get angry because people question, people reject what you have to talk about. And you can't really prove nothing. The only thing you're doing is selling a story. That's what you're doing. You're selling a story. Either you believe the story or you don't. It's a matter of faith. That's why it's called keeping the faith. That's why it's called belief. Don't expect evidence. Don't expect proof. This is a story. Either you accept the story or you don't. I prefer not to accept the story. Feel-good rhetoric, false hopes and dreams. God has not done nothing for none of you. You can't prove that either. Wherever you find the Bible and the Quran, you find starvation, you find suffering, you find death. There's nothing good. You don't find the Quran supposed to be a book of peace. And when you look at the Arabs and all those who are supposed to be peace lovers, you don't see any peace. It's all a bunch of hypocritical things. It's all a bunch of things to make you docile. They say one thing and do other things. Even the God is violent. Killing thousands and thousands of people in Sodom and Gomorrah and just murdering people, making threats. I'm going to send you to hell and making false promises, and you pray every day and none of this stuff is coming true. Billions of people who believe in this God, and look how they live. They just suffer and suffer and suffer. And you have babies, be fruitful and multiply. So when you bring these children on the earth, they suffer. What's up with that? No, I can't get with that. I can't get with that. We have to make things the way we want them to be. If we don't, just like Dr. King said, evil exists because good people do nothing. And if you wonder why we're in this condition, it's because good people do nothing. When good people decide to do something, all of this will change overnight. But right now, you're scared of the evil folks. Right now, you are a coward and you are afraid of the wicked people. And what little things that you do get, you're satisfied with it. You're used to this comfortable, oppressive, unjust, unfair, wicked lifestyle that we was born into. You're satisfied with it. But see, when you get sick of it, when you become like Popeye the Sailor Man, I stood out like it stands. I can't stand no more. When you become like Popeye and say that, all of this will start changing. Whatever it was prior to what we have now, somebody suffered, somebody sacrificed, somebody died in order to make it the way that it is right now. For the worse. So why can't we suffer? Why can't we sacrifice? Why can't we die for the better? We may not enjoy it, but at least we can bring some relief to future generations. We could do that for them. We could do that really for us as a species, as a human life form. Because this here, the way we've been living for the last few thousand years, is ridiculous. But all we do is complain because good people do nothing. And clearly, our God that we believe in and have faith in, and clearly this God is not interested or has no power to change nothing for us.
Free your mind.
Mm, mm, mm. Woo! It's taking me a break under this shade tree. What up, everybody? This your boy Crispy, everybody. I know them Negroes want to call me Crispy. I can tell. I can tell they want to call me Black and Crispy so bad when I'm talking to these Negroes. Salute back to you, brother Michael. Salute to you. What up, Ollie? Hey, what's up, Keaton? Hey, where are y'all coming from? All right. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. I just want to make a quick observation. As always, as always, in the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always to everybody. And I do mean that. But if you wanna throw down, you want to be enemy, I can do that too. I don't turn the other cheek. So we don't play that here. The mighty one, Angel Snub Nub 7. And of course, this is the Reality's Temple on Earth. I'm also your soul brother number one. Okay. I know, I know. Yeah, Keaton, I know I'm sporadic. I just have to do things when I get a chance. I would like to I would like to do my programs every Sunday at 3:30. I'm going to try to do that. But sometimes, we have these breaking news topics, and I like to comment on those too. So yesterday I made two videos. I made one. The title was "Join the Nation of Islam Now," and due to technical difficulties, something went wrong with the processing. I had to delete that off. And also, I made another video talking about young Pharaoh, the threat that somebody made on Sinetta TV against young Pharaoh. I will do those probably when I get home, and I can actually take the comment that person made on Sinetta TV and put that whole thing together. The problem is I like this iPhone, but y'all didn't tell me this iPhone can get hot. And when I put this iPhone up on my window, the sun heats the window up, and it causes this iPhone to overheat. That's my problem sometimes. The heat from the sun on my windshield gets too hot, and the iPhone starts having problems. It's not always signal problems. Sometimes the iPhone gets hot. But on that note, with that being said, as young Furrow always say, let me make this point real quick and get out of here. Um, like I said, I'm just chilling under this tree. Want to make a short video. I was just thinking about rats. I know many of us have had rats in our house. Rats find a way to get in your house. That's just what rats do, looking for food or whatever. Rats come in your house looking for food, looking for something to live on. Rats come in your house, come in, eat your food, mess up your house, leave feces all over your house, and don't give you nothing in return. Also, rats carry disease. Let's make these points again. Rats find a way in your house. They eat your food for free. They give you nothing. They leave feces all over your house. And and they carry disease. I was just thinking about a rat. That's what made me think about the black conscious community. It's a conscious full of rats. What do? They come to you, they find a way into your heart, they find a way in your soul. They talk about the white man and they tell you about your oppression, and they find a way to your heart. They find a way in your house. They find a way in your soul. They make you believe they care about you and they love you and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. So they make a way in your house. But just like the rat, once they get into your house, they eat your food for free. Donate to my Patreon account. Donate to my Cash App. The only thing they do, just like a rat do, is take from you. They don't give you nothing in return, just like a rat. That's what they do. The black conscious community, pro-black, blackity black, comedic, all of them do it. All of them. African wannabe, all of them ask for money sooner or later. Give to my, what can you do for them? They don't do for you. They give you nothing back. Nothing. And if you do see something that they claim they give back, it's little or nothing. It don't mean anything. So they're just like rats. They're just like rats. Come in your house, eat your food, take advantage of you, and when they're done with you, throw you away like a wet piece of toilet paper. That's what they do. Because they rats. And rats leave feces all over your house. And that's what they do. These black conscious people talk a lot of shit, leave feces all over your house. Leave you with a puzzled look because you thought this was my friend. You thought this was my brother and sister, and we running around here talking about brother, sister, brother. You Negroes ain't. Don't be calling me no brother and all that kind of stuff. You Negroes ain't no brother or no sisters of mine, because my brother never came in my house to use me. If anything, my brother come in my house to bring me something, bring me a gift, do something for me. These suckers, the only thing they do is take from you. Take, never give. What can you do for them? They never do for you. Even after they get thousands and thousands, if not millions of dollars, they give you nothing. And they carry disease. The disease is that black conscious, comedic, Hebrew Israelite, blackity black, I'm going to be an African this, Pan-African, RBG. That disease, that's a sickness. All of them, they hate people for no reason. Screaming, just hate folks for no reason. Want to kill and murder somebody, but now they only actually murder black folks, soul brothers and sisters. That's the only person they actually will murder. The only people they actually will kill. The rest of it ain't nothing but some damn talk. Because the Chinese, the Asians still in the community, and the Arabs still in the community, white folks still in the community. But they will threaten your life and make you move out of your own neighborhood. These pieces of trash, these rats, these pro-black, black conscious leeches, they're a bunch of parasites. They talk good, they sound good, and it seems like they mean good, but time has revealed that they are no good. I would suggest to all of us, leave them the hell alone. You know, well, you don't know, I'm going to tell you. Right before I came to this video, it's this guy, this gay guy, homosexual fella. I think his name is Gazi, whatever. He's a homosexual guy, but talk all that pro-black stuff. I was on his channel, and they didn't like what I had to say about all this pro-black stuff, and they blocked me. Now, these are the same people. These are the same people who get upset because Facebook delete their channels. Matter of fact, that's what he was complaining about, talking about Facebook deactivated his account or some crap. But at the same time, they do the same thing. They actually, this is the killer thing. They actually think white folks is scared of them. They scared of what we gotta say. They scared of our truth. Caucasian people ain't scared of y'all Negroes. These people have nuclear bombs. They have NBC, ABC. They have publishing companies. What the hell they scared of you for? You ain't nothing but a damn rat. You ain't nothing but a damn leech to the soul community. You worse than the white man is, as far as I'm concerned. So, but they kicked me off the channel. I didn't say nothing disrespectful, but see, I was telling the truth too. So they must be scared of my truth. They must be scared of the reality that I'm bringing to them. They must be scared also. See, they so hypocritical, a bunch of fakes. I really dislike these people, and I lost some subscribers, and I want to lose subscribers. I want to get all these pro-black African wannabe suckers off my channel. I don't want nothing to do with none of you. You're arrogant, you're violent, you're nasty, you're vulgar, you're profane. You think you know it all? Stay the hell away from me. I don't want nothing to do with these pieces of trash. And I would challenge you every chance I get. Yes, I would challenge your ragged ass. You're nothing but a poison. You're nothing but a rat to the soul community. Parasites, leeches, sucking our blood, giving our people false hopes and dreams, fantasy and fiction. White people scared of them, scared of their truth. What truth you got that Caucasian people scared of? Really? They scared of you. You're nothing to them. Matter of fact, you're a nigger to them. Matter of fact, that's what you call yourself. They love to use they love to use the word nigger and coon and sambo, just like their slave master, because the reality is, yeah, Keaton, that's right. They cannot handle the truth. They want to live in la la land, some kind of fantasy, some kind of fiction, that type of thing. If you want fantasy stories, if you want false hopes and dreams, you need to get away from here. When you bring me positive stuff, I will talk about positive stuff. You bring me negative things, that's what I'm going to talk about, because that's what you bring. If you want to change, then change it. You want to sit around here and trip off these fake ass stories that y'all done made up. The black man is God. The black man is a warrior. Black people are kings and queens. All these damn lies. The only thing the so-called Negro in America has ever known is slavery. You've never been independent from the white man. Never. You never lived an independent life. And if you keep listening to these pro-black suckers, that's all you will ever be, is a slave. Because that's all they are. Comedic slaves, pro-black slaves, first black slaves, black conscious slaves, Hebrew Israelite slaves, Nation of Islam slaves. All of them ain't nothing but slaves. They don't impress me at all. They have done nothing to impress nobody. So why would the white man be scared of them? There's nothing that they have done or even what they say that scares Caucasian people. Now, back in the 60s, when the Caucasian people first heard, or in the 30s, when the Caucasian people first heard the white man is the devil, that sort of upset them a little bit. But then they saw that these Negroes ain't about nothing. And, they don't even mind you calling them devils now. They laugh at this stuff. So it's all a joke. Look, if y'all want to get serious, if you really want to get something done, what do they say? If you want to get with a hero, y'all need to get rid of those zeros. Need to let that black conscience, all that garbage, all that crazy stuff go. And get on the soul train. Let's get serious and let's really do something for real before our time runs out. If it
Free your mind.
The following program is rated TVMA. Viewer discretion is advised.
There's a place in Africa you could say that I'm from. A tribe? I am thrilled. It puts a name, a place, a location, a people. It opens up such possibilities.
But the problem is, Sierra Leone wasn't the only answer Vi got. A company called Relative Genetics found a match to a single person in the Wobi tribe in the Ivory Coast.
Different? Different. Now, I got all excited about that, and this is different? Now, how could that happen?
Then a third company, Trace Genetics. Your particular sequence matches sequences reported among multiple Mendanka individuals in Senegal.
What's up with this?
And Family Tree DNA, the company that linked Vi with Marion in the first place, came up with a whole list of matches. This goes on and on.
My goodness.
So what do we know about Vi's ancestry? The DNA does indicate that she has distant relatives in the Mende tribe, but she also has relatives in all those other tribes. So no one can say for sure where Vi's maternal ancestor actually came from. When I handed Vi the certificate, she got extremely emotional about it. She wept, and it meant so very much.
People want to believe.
They want to believe they've gotten an answer.
And it's not fair of us to let them believe that we're giving them certain answers, because scientifically, we just can't.
Hank Greeley is concerned that the science isn't really there yet for you to be giving them the name of a tribe.
I think for most companies, I would be concerned too.
But what about your own company?
We have
He
the
didn't
largest...
exclude you. He included you.
But we have the largest set of sequences from Africa. And so with that, we're able to provide some level of probability in terms of frequency.
But he would say that even though you have the largest database, it's still small on the scope of things.
As I said, I share those concerns.
About yourself.
Our DNA.
And that's the rub. This business of genetic genealogy is fraught with limitations. For one thing, it can only provide information about a tiny fraction of our ancestry. Because we get half our DNA from our mothers and half from our fathers, almost all of our DNA gets shuffled and remixed every generation, making it impossible to trace what comes from whom. There are just 2 bits of DNA that remain pure: the Y chromosome, which passes directly from father to son, and something called mitochondrial DNA, which passes unchanged from mother to child. Hank Greeley, a law professor at Stanford University, has studied this new field. He worries that people don't realize just how many ancestors they actually have.
8 generations ago, both you and I had 256 great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents.
Wait, you're saying that if you go back 8 generations, we have 256 great-great-great-grandparents?
Yes, it doubles every generation. So you've got 2 parents, you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, and it adds up fast. It adds up so fast, in fact, that if you go back 20 generations, you've got over 1 million grandparents.
1,048,576 to be exact. And in each generation, DNA testing can provide information about only 2 of them.
So you could be Peruvian on your mother's 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 side, Japanese on your father's 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 side, Swedish on everything else.
And you'll never know.
And you'll never know the Swedish from the Y chromosome or the mitochondrial DNA.
Now, you've looked at several of these companies that are doing these tests.
Yes.
Do you think that they explain what you just explained to us?
No. I don't think any of them does as good a job of pointing out the limitations. But, businesses often don't go around telling you how weak their product is.
We don't oversell. I mean, we just say, look, we provide a service. If you're interested in exploring a tiny bit of your DNA and trace its ancestry, we can do that.
When you say it's a tiny little amount,
it's less than 0.1%.
And that's pretty teeny.
Yeah, but for people who know nothing about any of them, I think it's very important.
Free your mind.
So, there are those who get very upset and angry at Angel Snubbing Up 7 because I have a problem with African DNA. First of all, Africa is a continent. A continent cannot have DNA. What people are you talking about? There are various, all kinds of different people, even though they are dark-skinned, there are various people on that continent. Who are you talking about? I have a problem when somebody sent dog DNA to these companies and the dog DNA was treated, or the result, it was able to get a human response, human hit. The dog originated from Germany, whatever, but it was a dog. The dog is not human. What kind of science are you using? I understand that you make mistakes or whatever, things can be in error, but this is a dog. I'm very sure dog DNA is much, much different than human DNA. Not only did they not say or detect that this was a dog, but told us where the dog come from. The dog's relatives in Germany, somewhere over there in Europe or whatever. Most of you that take this DNA test, you are a cheapskate. You only take one test and you run with it. But those who have taken more than one test, 2 or 3, these companies bring different results. How can each company bring different results? You are the same person. If I went into a blood a clinic where they was examining my blood, all the companies should say the same thing. It's the same blood.